Yo, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the show. Before we get started, just want to say I am definitely a lot of changes happening. That's why we didn't stream yesterday. There were some changes happening with my schedule and everything overall. Like, I got a new job. I'm also looking into just doing a lot more with my household and just some other personal matters in that regard. So, with me saying all of that, so let me move the microphone just a little bit closer and actually have it facing up. How about that? With me doing more at home and stuff like that, and a lot of changes happening in my life, making sure I am on top of just not even Lumebento but other stuff. So yesterday I took some time to do some stuff at home, kind of get some things right. But got some good news. The second proof for the PenguinBoy Volume 1 came in, and while there are tiny changes and things I'm going to add to it, I still want to make sure that I make the time I need to for Chapter 11. But I'm going to add in some extra pages to Volume 1, along with changing around some stuff, adding some more stuff to it, making it like an HD remake, and kind of going from there. I always equated that this first volume is going to be an HD remake of the first 4 chapters, where I update certain line art, I update certain text, and just a bunch of other stuff. So be on the lookout for that, and yeah. We're going to get started here in a few minutes. I'll be right back. I need to grab myself a water, because we got some stuff to talk about. Alright, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. As usual, as you guys already know, I'm here, I'm just chilling. I'm actually going to add some music to this section, so that way we can actually, get something in here. Let's do By the Fire. So I kind of let that play in the background while I talk. But just so everybody can see, this is the first version of PenguinBoy Volume 1 that I had got. This is the second version that I had got. And yeah, so a couple of things is, there's changes that I have to do to the binding again. And then after I make changes to the binding, there's also some things that I had to do on the inside of the books. So before stream, that's actually what I was doing, is I was looking at making some changes to the inside of the book. And I'm looking at a bunch of different things. So I'm looking at, Chain Soldier, I'm looking at One Piece, I'm looking at Naruto, I'm looking at Bleach. I'm looking at, some 7 Seas properties. I'm seeing kind of what they do and how they have things in the inside. And I will say, Blue Exorcist probably has some of the best end game content at the end of it that I'm like, hey, I might end up doing something similar to how they do it. And similar to how like all these other people do it, I'm just kind of looking at like how all these other companies do it and how these other artists actually do their stuff too. So yeah, that's pretty much it. But yeah, Penguin Boy is coming along very good. It's coming along very well. The chapter itself is coming along nice. I'm actually quite surprised at kind of how I have and what I'm doing, and just, you know, how the dialogue is turning out. When you focus on the Fukudashi, it actually turns out quite well. And I really want to say this, you know, Dragfang, I know you were asking questions about this. I keep having people asking me questions about all this stuff, and whether it comes to Ansel Goal, Saturday M, whether it comes to Shrine or Pulse, whether it comes to Viz Media, whether it's like Viz One Shots, whether it comes to Viz Originals, all these other companies that I think are in the independent space or doing work, you know, to their caliber, I don't really have an opinion on them. I don't really care to speak on them all too much. You guys should know that by now. There are certain people I don't really care for on certain teams. There's certain stories I don't really care for. While they may have great art, they may have some stories that are telling fantastic stories. They might even have some amazing people, but I stopped looking into a lot of them pretty heavy, just because I wanted to really focus and hunker down on what we have going on here at Lumebento. Because if I focus too hard on these other companies, either their stories or what they're doing, I'll lose focus on what I'm doing. So Dragfang, this is addressed directly to you and anybody else, or not anybody else, the few other people who are asking me questions about these other companies. While yes, I know who they are, I know who key players are, I know what key stories are on these labels. They're not my immediate attention, and I don't care to focus on them just as much as they don't care to focus on us. Doesn't mean I hate them, doesn't mean I want them to die out. I think you need competition in order to thrive. But I just need you guys to understand that asking me any questions about these other companies, I'm going to ignore, and I'm really not going to talk about, because I'm not trying to start any beef between us and what they got going on. I want them to do what they're doing, continue doing what they're doing, whether that's thriving or failing or whatever. They do whatever they do over there. We might people from a distance, but that's as much of a comment as you're gonna get out of me going into anything with that. So hopefully that quails all questions, that quails all thoughts, and everybody can do that. But just understand that if you ask me a blunt question, and I'm speaking to you too, Dragfang, if you ask me a blunt question about somebody else, probably not gonna answer it, man. I'm probably gonna ignore it, because we're here about Penguin Boy, we're here about Recusant, we're here about all the other stuff that my talented artists have coming out on the thing. And I'm not going to answer everything all at once, because we're a publication at the end of the day. So I want to make sure that when I speak on Lumebento stuff, I'm speaking on Lumebento stuff, and it has nothing to do with any other artist or what their label is doing. So hopefully that makes sense for you guys. But Martial Arts here, owner and operator of Lumebento LLC. You know, my manga light novel company stationed here in Ohio. You can currently go and read my manga, Penguin Boy, along with a few other titles such as Recusant, which is just recently a one-shot that was dropped over there. Brave Soul, which is a story that I did prior to Penguin Boy. Devil's Strike, the one-shot that me and my fiance did, which she's a talented writer herself. You can go read all that over on lumebento.net. Links are in the description of this YouTube video, and if you're over on the Twitter side or the Kick side, be sure to hop over on the YouTube side, man. That's where most of the content is going. You can even go to my TikTok, where I post a lot of behind the scenes stuff, and yeah, be sure to subscribe, as it shows your ever growing support for the content on the channel. And yeah, if you want to see videos like this, you know, be there. And I do want to say a shout out to the recent subscribers, man. I appreciate it. Shout out to the recent 4 subscribers who subscribed recently. We're at 98 subs. We're looking to push 100. If we get 2 more subs, man, I'll give you guys a special drawing that I'll draw on stream, and I'll post it as something on the site that you guys can all have and download as like background art and stuff like that. But yeah, so yeah. So how many volumes would you want Penguin Boy to be? So the funny thing is I'm not ignorant to think that I can have Penguin Boy be this infinite amount of volumes, but I'm also not going to stifle myself by saying, oh, I don't want this to be a crazy long series. So Penguin Boy is also going to be 5 arcs. Penguin Boy is going to be 5 arcs, and in each arc there's going to be 2 to 3 places they visit. So if you think about that, that's either 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. That's 10 places that we go to, and then the story's done. Or that's 3, 6, 9, 12, 14. I probably butchered that math, but you get what I'm saying. There's just a limited amount of places because Penguin Boy is meant to be kind of a stepping stone for me to learn and do a bunch of stuff. So yeah, yeah, I'm definitely thinking about that. Also, what are you hoping for with Lumebento, and will you redo Brave Soul? So I will redo Brave Soul. That is something I don't think I've ever actually said out loud. I know I've talked to my team about this, but Brave Soul is something I definitely am going to redo. And that's going to be even shorter. So my goal with Brave Soul is to do like, maybe do like 15, 20 chapters, and then that's it. It's just going to end on that. It's going to end on one shot. And, maybe I'll even do like 20, maybe I'll even do like 25 to 30 chapters. But I really want Brave Soul, when I redo it, to be very short, because I want that to embody my love of like tournament-based stories, and I just want that to be a tournament-based story, just like what it was. Like if you go read Brave Soul now, it really never got a chance to really get its feet up off the ground. A lot of the time, it was just me trying to fumble around on the page and figure out, how the hell am I drawing this? Like, Brave Soul is up on the website. If you guys want to go back and read Brave Soul, all 6 chapters are up. Now, admittedly, the 6th chapter is halfway done. You're literally going to get, if you read chapter 6, you're literally going to read chapter 6, and only half of it is going to be finished. And the other half is just going to be sketches, because I wanted to show people kind of where I stopped, and I wanted to show people like what my idea was going through this chapter. And dude, I had some really badass ideas for chapter 6, because that was really going to open up kind of what these 2 characters can do. And I wanted chapter 6 to be kind of like a, here's the ceiling of both of these characters' powers. So that way, when it continues and you go to even like the next few chapters, bam, now that ceiling is crushed, because now there's an even higher ceiling. You know, these 2 duked it out as hard as they could. And now there's even more that they have to kind of go with. So I can confidently say that Brave Soul is definitely going to be coming back. When is definitely going to be after Penguin Boy, and I think by the time I'm done with Penguin Boy, I think it's going to be crazy, man. But yeah, it's neither here nor there. So just kind of getting some of the topics that I wanted to kind of chat about. And I feel like this is something that, you know, we all can kind of agree on. You know, let me kind of chat with you guys on this one a little bit. So, you know, making manga is fun, but you know, I want to really give you a rundown of when you're creating something from nothing most of the time, and those ideas will come with plot holes. So when I created Penguin Boy, when I created Brave Soul, and I started writing down all these ideas, you know, these ideas also came with these plot holes that I'm not going to say I wasn't ready for, but I would start writing and drawing, and then as I continued to either draw the chapter or write the chapter, I realized that, oh man, I need to make sure I'm keeping in mind these things with this character, or these things with this character. And, you know, having the homies kind of read my story, having certain people read my story and give me those critiques really helped me evolve. And that's why as you read Penguin Boy, you're going to see me kind of evolve from chapter 1 to where we are now with chapter 10. We're 10 chapters in, and I feel like I've really evolved overall. So, you know, with making manga, even though it's really fun, you're always going to get those plot holes, and that's something I'm just going to say. Especially creating as an American, man. That means you have to have, you know, you have to be able to get out of your own head, and, you know, this means you have to get out of your head that others and their opinions really matter, you know. I'm talking about friends and family, you know, your dog is a local bum down the street who begs for change, but more importantly, online people, right? So when you're creating your manga, if you're at home and, you know, you have your significant other or your family sitting there badgering you with all these different comments, that shit can get very annoying. It doesn't matter if you're creating a manga or a comic, but I'm specifically talking about manga right now. Everything I'm saying can apply to comics too. It can apply to webtoons, whatever you're creating. You know, you have to get out of your head that, you know, these others and their opinions matter. You have to only take the opinions of people that you actually care about, people that you actually want to hear from. Because a lot of times there's going to be all these people online who wear these masks. Like, literally, they wear these masks and they go, oh, you know, your story sucks. And then they don't have to take any consequences because they're online. They can just log off for the day. So you when you are creating your story, when I'm creating Penguin Boy, I can't think about what everybody's saying. I can only think about what a few people are saying who to me are like editors, or to me they create stories at such a level that I have respect for. And not too many people have given me criticism in terms of, you know, my storytelling, my characterization, but the ones who did, those really matter to me. So, you know, the internet and the online people, they're not, you don't have to always listen to them. Now, if you're talking to somebody and they have been an editor for 5, 6, 7 years, hell, even 3 years on a reputable series or an up and coming series, then I would listen to what they're saying, take it into consideration, and then move accordingly. That doesn't mean you need to listen to their advice, because sometimes their advice isn't pertinent. They don't know everything that's happening with your story. So just to kind of circle it back to the online people who wear masks and then can log off for the day, the internet isn't a real place and you can leave whenever you want. Now, for most things nowadays, you need the internet to promote your work. Excuse me. But let's not get it twisted, man. With the fact that you can leave is just as easily mentioned. Like, I want you guys to understand, you can literally create something, drop it off at an online spot, and then log off for the day and go do something like play the game with the homies, go out with your wife, your boyfriend, your husband, your grandma, your aunt, your uncle, and then you can go have fun. And then you can come back, so that way you've had a break from social media or online, read those comments, whether they're nasty or they're really supportive or they're somewhere in between, and then you can assess it and go from there. If you choose to listen to the online people, that's up to you. If you choose not to, it's the exact same thing. So I always say, you know, take what people are saying with a grain of salt. I mean, some people are right, but that's why we have, you know, fanfics and all that stuff. But I'm not gonna touch fanfics. Martial arts, you going to make a third series after Penguin Boy and Brave Souls? Yeah, there's gonna be. I have a bunch of stories I want to make, honestly, man, and I have a bunch of them that I'm gonna turn into short stories. And I'll just say most of the short stories I want to do are going to be long running formats that I want to do. Not long running. They're just gonna be like. They're just gonna be running formats, so they're just gonna be serious that I actually can see myself doing for like a couple years, and then boom, they're done. But outside of Penguin Boy and Brave Soul, yeah, there's a couple stories that I want to do, man, and I think all of them are unique. Like on my phone, on this phone, I have over 40 ideas written down that have, some of them are like way more extensive and in detail, but others are kind of like they're kind of like the general, like, oh, let me write a paragraph or two and then it's done. But some of them are like very extensive to where I could easily map it out into a story. But I'm choosing not to do that as of right now. And the one thing I'm focusing on is I'm just focusing on Penguin Boy. Penguin Boy gets all my attention. I don't want to be one of these artists trying to create 9 different stories when I'm just one person. So, yeah. Going back to it, man, in recent years has been a thing for someone to make an account, give their 2 cents, and hold that fact over someone's head. You know, and I always think that if you're gonna do that, it's always kind of weird. You know, just because someone feels strongly about an opinion they have over something someone else created doesn't make it a fact. And a lot of people do that. They will take this note card of facts and dangle it over your head and say, see, I'm right because I think this and this. Dude, I don't care if I create a character whose power is to only swim underwater or to only breathe underwater, and I say that he's super strong on the surface. If someone comes out and they say, oh, well, it's stupid that, you know, you have this thing here where this character does this, I'm like, yeah, it's cool. It's called story writing. I'm creating a story that I think is cool, where it may not make sense to you because you want to put real world logic or certain things into it. But not everything has to have realism. You know, just because something doesn't look like Yusuke Murata's One Punch Man or Takashi Obata's Death Note doesn't mean that it's terrible. Something can look like Shin-chan or One's drawing and it still have an amazing story. So if someone comes along and says there's already like a One Piece because my art personally looks like One Piece, it doesn't mean I have to stop creating, Penguin Boy and what I'm doing and then create something new. I'm gonna keep following my path because as you read as you read Penguin Boy, yeah, the art is similar to One Piece because that's the artist I chose to model my art style after. That's who I grew up teaching myself to draw. Like, just like how there's some people who like Kingdom Hearts, or there's some people who like Naruto, or they like Bleach, and these other creators, they also have their big thing. Like, if people were to look at Oda's art style, it's very reminiscent of Dragon Ball, not Dragon Ball Z, Dragon Ball, because that's what Oda really liked. And Oda took concepts from a few different people. He took the one guy's invisibility from Naruto, where there's a conversation between Masashi Kishimoto and Ichiro Oda talking about, Oda's like, yo, I really like the way you did invisibility. Do you mind me like using that? Like, I modeled this character's invisibility fruit after the invisibility you use in your manga. And Masashi Kishimoto's like, I don't care. Go ahead, bro. But most surface level anime watchers or creators won't know those types of things because they don't dig that deep. They're only there for the art and if it looks cool. So it's just like, it's whatever. I follow my path because I know what I'm creating. I can't let anyone else stop me from that thing. So while it's good to consider your options, I do believe it's also good not to stray away from what you want to do. I think if you stray away from what you want to do, you're going to start to lose sense of your story. And it's cool because a recent team member of mine had this revelation through different critiques and criticisms that we had of his story, and he was like, yo, I think I'm going to stick close to the path that I want to stick to because that was originally good. I'm going to implement what you guys are saying, but in very micro doses. And I think that that's fine as long as you're conscious of what you're doing or what you're trying to do. There should be no problem with you moving forward with your own ideas. So yeah, in America, I will say this, and I will say this about us as Americans who create things. In America, we live in a fast-paced environment where, we want to put things out as fast as possible. It's something that where if we don't want that, the audience does. I mean, think about it recently, when Netflix and other companies started going back to a weekly basis of releasing anime, a lot of people are like, "Oh my god, this is terrible. I want it to come out now. The whole season should be dropped." And it's like, dog, no, they're doing that for a very specific reason. They're doing that for the reason of we want to make sure that you actually can we want to make sure you can actually go in and enjoy our content. We want you guys to build speculation. It's all done by practice, So release it at your own pace. Release your story at your own pace. The right people will come. This means you will grow slowly, but that's not a problem that's not a problem if you don't mind it and if you're going slow because you want to. I'm a very fast-paced worker. I enjoy speeding things up and figuring things out and learning as I go and getting better as I go. That's not for everybody. Some people want more. Some people want to take 9 months to 3 years on a project. And I'm not talking about creating movies. I'm once again talking about creating manga. We're not talking about creating music, movies, or anything else that can take really long or really fast. I'm talking about creating manga. That can take months to years for some people because they're putting out their brainchild. So just to let you guys know, for Lumebento, I'm not rushing anything because it's not just my name on the line. I want our books, and I mean our books. When I do a book for Penguin Boy, for Recusant, for Light On, and for all these other projects that are on the label, I want them to be the best they can be. I want them to be very good. I want them to be pristine, and I want them to be something that people can really, really enjoy. And when they open the book, they feel like they've spent their money's worth. So, I want to make our books and other things that we can make them the best as we can as we go on and improve as we go. I don't think the same as everybody else where, oh, hang on. But yeah, I don't think the same as everybody else, man. Hang on a sec. Sorry, something happened on my computer. Okay. Yeah, I don't think it's the same as everybody else where, they want everything to be super perfect the first time it comes out. I think that if you are independent artist or creator, you know, you are given a lot of leeway because people understand that you're one person creating this massive project. And even if you are a small group of people, like 10 to 20 people creating a video game or a TV show or a film, you know, they understand that it takes a lot of work. Look at Cobra Kai as an example. Cobra Kai started out as like a small, I believe, don't quote me on this, but I do believe Cobra Kai started out as like a small group of people wanting to do some cool stuff for YouTube, and it turned out to be like this big production, this big show, to where it got picked up by Netflix. So yeah, there's a lot of people who give a lot of leeway to us as indie creators, and I think that that's always good. So in the case, you know, of creating manga or a video game as a single person or a small band of 20 people, is definitely going to give me more leniency than, let's say, a AAA studio who's creating all these hit games. If they create some shit work and they rush the project, everyone's going to complain because they're so used to having quality from these people, especially because the AAA studios, whether they're doing video games or whatever, they're charging top dollar for their games. With games now being $80, I understand that you're like, yo, give me a complete game at the start. Don't give me a car with no engine, no wheels, and no seats. I don't care about a car that doesn't have all this. Give me a complete car. If I spend $80, or in this case $30,000 on a new car or whatever, give me that car. Don't mess around with me on this. So that's what I have to say on that. Shout out to the 12 people in here rocking with me, man. Appreciate you guys. I know the numbers are fluctuating. I know this isn't normally what you guys are getting, but for the talk show, I really want to always fluctuate between drawing and talking. Some days we're going to go straight into talking. Other days we're going to go straight into just drawing. And today I felt like talking about some stuff, really getting some things off my chest. But most people, I will say, when creating Penguin Boy, just to kind of go back into that, my goal is to get better as I go along. Penguin Boy is my stepping stone manga. It is to go along is to get better as I go along. Just like when you go back and read Tower of God, God of High School, all those things, in the beginning you're just like, whoa, this is kind of this is kind of wonky. But as you go on, you see that they got better. The story gets better. The writing gets better. The dialogue gets better. The characterization gets better. The backgrounds get better. The color gets better. All these things get better because they are allowed to just get better as they go. And fans understand that, hey, you know, I'm enjoying this series. I'm enjoying certain things about it. So my goal is to get better as I go along. You know, I want people to see the improvement, not just in my art, but in all those things that I said, the storytelling, the character direction, character interaction, the sequential storytelling aspect of it, and a lot more. So that way, when I do move on to other projects, such as going back to Brave Soul, you know, people can really understand and see the skills that I've learned, and they can go back and be like, dude, this was his strengths and weaknesses, but he's all but like conquered that shit going into these new series. Then that way people can be like, yeah, we know we're gonna get a dope quality product from Lumebento or martial arts, you know. So by seeing me take my stepping stones with Penguin Boy and understanding that not only is all that stuff gonna get better, you're gonna be more confident in sticking with me and other people on the team. So but even in saying that, most people find the developing stage very embarrassing. I'm not somebody who finds this stuff very embarrassing, you know. And they don't really want to give out trade secrets. You know, they find not only like showcasing their bad art embarrassing or their writing embarrassing. People online are very quick to judge you and very quick to correct you with everything. It doesn't matter what it is. You could be in the middle of trying to create something, and they could be like, "Hey, this is spelled wrong," or "Hey, this is this wrong." It's like, "Oh, okay, cool. Appreciate that. Don't care about it. Trying to create this right now. I will always go back to that. I'm just showing you guys the process before I do it." But yeah, I'm not afraid to give anybody my trade secrets. So as we continue to draw and draft manga together, I don't mind talking people through what I'm doing, the process and stuff like that. I'm not going to give everybody my secrets, but at the same time, I don't mind talking to people who actually want to learn this, whether they're fans of my work or not. You know, hopefully through my words, they can understand and appreciate, you know, the dedication that I have to creating manga and not just creating it, but learning how to create it. You know, I have to be... the big kicker is I don't actually need this to happen with people, you know. I don't know if anyone's understanding what I'm saying, but it's okay to be misunderstood. So if I'm teaching you guys something where manga's created and you're just like, I don't really care about that, that's okay. That content or that moment isn't for you then. But the rest of the content might be for you. Who knows? So a lot about creating manga has taught me to focus on what I want to do and filter through the noise with certain comments are coming. This means, you know, taking a look at who I'm uh, who I'm getting insight from and keeping those who are really close to me, keeping their insight really close to me as well. So as I get better with my art, my storytelling, my writing, dialogue, and tons of other things, you will see those improvements through my storytelling, through my characterizations, through my drafting, and all things above. So finally, I just want to say, you know, no matter what is happening with the other independent stories or other independent companies or the independent people in my lane, I'm going to continue to do me, and a lot of other people who are underneath Lumebento are going to continue to work as they have. We have a genuine fan base, and shout out to you guys, the Bento fandom, Penguin Nation as well. Those of you who enjoy my talks, those of you who enjoy my art, and the loads of other things that we have going on. We always look forward to you guys coming back and supporting our projects and stuff like that. And when Penguin Boy actually drops, when Penguin Boy Volume 1 actually drops, trust me, everybody's going to know. Everybody's going to get a chance to see it. I've been working tirelessly on the back end, kind of going through this. And I'm almost done going through this second iterations of things that I need to do. And just so you guys can see, there actually is stuff in this book. There is stuff in this book that you can see. But yeah, besides that, you guys all have a good rest here. Now I'm just playing. We're not getting off. We're getting ready to go to the drawing part. But yeah, let's continue working as we have, man. And thank you for always the talks, and thank you for always coming to the platform so we can go to the drawing portion. I know you all are waiting on it. So yeah. But hopefully that all makes sense. I started it off by saying some cool stuff and ended it by saying some cool stuff. So yeah. Ended it by saying some cool stuff, started it by saying some cool stuff. And hopefully, if anybody has any questions about any of these other companies, they fully understand that I don't care about anything that anyone else is saying. Nor do I care about what these other companies are doing. It doesn't bother me. It doesn't bug me. I don't know any situation about what's going on with anybody. I know what's happening with my team. And I know that if you guys and gals and people are going to get anything from us, it's always going to be in a very entertaining light. You know, I want to make sure that we entertain you guys first and foremost. Because to me, my job as a company owner and a company runner is to make sure you all have an understanding of what I'm looking for. Okay, there we go. And if you don't, well, you're going to figure out. So, yeah. As I always like to say, thanks for coming to my TED Talk. We're only going to stream until about 8 something today, about 8:30. So right now we're about 37 minutes in. Once it hits about 8:30 a.m. on my time, I'm going to have to hop off for today, make sure I go and doing some stuff because today is Wednesday. I have a few things to do with this new job. And then if anything, I'm so sorry. With what's going on, I meant to tell you guys this. So I am getting a new job. And the new job is going to mean different hours for me. So this means we're probably going to not be streaming in the morning time anymore because my new job, from what it looks like, I'm going to be working from 6 to about 4:30 p.m., which means I'll probably be streaming later on at night now. I'll probably be streaming around 8 or 9 like I used to. And it'll still be the same days, Monday through Thursday. It'll still be the same days where I'm streaming Monday through Thursday. And then that way I have Friday, Saturday off with family or friends or whatever. But yeah, I feel like those 4 days that I'm streaming, you guys are going to get to see some awesome stuff. I got to pull up everything because I was not fully set up to draw. In one sec. So what I'm doing right now is I'm drawing the. Oh, you can't hear me. Steve Jacobs. He just says balls. Coolio. Yeah, excuse me. My bad, guys. It actually comes out. Yeah, it should be coming out around that time. We're only in the second week of June. So, should be able to do some stuff today. Chapters don't come out on the 25th of June anymore. They come out on the last Thursday of the month. They have the potential to come out on the 25th of June, but I changed that in one of the streams, Dragfang. In one of the streams, I had said that they're gonna start coming out in the. I think I made that at the end of. I think I said that at the end of chapter 10 too. That chapters are gonna start coming out regularly. But yeah, they're gonna start coming out at the last Thursday of every month. now I have to go find a book that showcases hugging. I think there's tons of things where, like, a lot of, I think there's tons of things where, like, we don't actually get to see too much on, like, how to draw. I think most of the time it's just, like, mother, son, like, how to draw things. And I'm not talking about that type of content. I'm talking about, like, actual mother and son, like, carrying a baby or bonding or anything like that. I think all those things are important. We don't see too many of those. You know? I'm trying to think of, like, a dynamic way to draw this. You'll get to see how that all came to be. You'll eventually get to see it. I want to make sure I at least draw this stuff in. Because knowing me, I'll forget to draw in the final. It's so funny to me too because like names always look so wonky, and they're not meant to be perfect. You're meant to pretty much draw the Fukudashi and then just kind of go from there. Oh, gross. Let's do brush size be thin. Let's do... I gotta get going. I gotta get ready to go. Do this stuff on this job. Yeah, we're gonna stop right there for today. If you guys didn't already check out everything, please be sure to check out everything. If you're just getting here, or you just got here not so long ago, head to the beginning of this video, watch it over at least the beginning portion if you've already seen the drawing portion. You seem to be close to finishing the chapter. Yeah, I'm very close. So I have literally there's 25 pages. There's 25 pages in this chapter. So I'm very close to finishing up this rough. It's something I'm going to finish up today. And once I finish this up today, I should be all good. Should be good after that. And outside of that, yeah, there's that. But like I was saying, appreciate everybody coming in. Appreciate everybody stopping in to kind of chat, see what's going on. If you rewind to the beginning of this video, you will hear some very good stuff, some very insightful stuff. And yeah, I just want you guys to understand that, you know, there's all that. But once again, everybody, martial arts, owner and operator of Lumebento, manga, light novels company stationed here in Ohio. And we study manga thoroughly through the Japanese methods and techniques to create our manga. We aren't just saying this to say, hey, look at us. We went from comics to making manga like a lot of people are. We are creating manga as close as we can to what they typically do in Japan, because that's just what we want to do. And yeah, be sure to subscribe, hit that bell to stay notified. More content like this coming out. We are streaming tomorrow. That's gonna be the last day during the week that we stream. And yeah, since we're gonna be streaming that from here on, yeah, we're just gonna be doing that and rocking out. And yeah, I'm gonna be finishing this today at some point. But besides that, I'll leave you guys off on the Be Right Back, and we're gonna go from there. You guys chill out, hang around if you want. I'm gonna leave this up for a second, let it play, let it rotate, go from there. All right, everybody, you all have a good rest of your day, morning, or night, wherever you are. And remember, let's recall imagination one story at a time.